Hello, good morning, bonjour, konnichiwa. Can you all hear me? If yes, please put something in the chat or say hello or put a thumbs up. This is, I think, the second time I do a live on YouTube, so it's new for me. How are you all doing today? Comment ça va aujourd'hui? Today, I'm very happy to talk about this topic I'm deeply passionate about, which is identity. Bonjour. I see the comment. Thank you for being here. So, the reason why I wanted to share about this topic and have a conversation with you is that identity has been part of my life, all our lives, I think, all of us. And because I have multiple layers, like all of you, I think, my cultural background, I am French, I am Japanese, I grew up in both countries. I have also lived in China, in England, and spent a lot of time in the US. So there is this cultural heritage that is part of my identity, and also all the roles that I have, as a mom, as a spouse, as a career woman. I was a sales manager for 10 years. Now I am an entrepreneur coach. So we have also these layers. And then I also have my personality traits, right? Like all of us, right? I am what we call a social introvert. So I like to meet people and have a coffee with friends and go to networking events, but I also like my quiet times. And so you know there are a lot of times where we wonder why I am like this, why I'm like that. All seems so contradictory and it doesn't make sense. And my intention today with this live is first to reflect on our identity. So how do you see yourself first? I think what perhaps the first question I would like to ask you, for those of you who will join or in live and who will be watching the replay, what is your intention for being here first? And also I would like to ask you this question: what do you think of you? What is your identity? What are the different pieces of you, that makes your identity? And so my first question is about who do you think, you are? So who am I? And a lot of time, you know, we tend to put ourselves some labels, like depending on what our parents used to tell us. Like, for example, my parents used to tell me you're shy or you're good at literature, but not so good in maths. So, of course, all these things will shape how I see myself, will shape my identity. But the thing is that nothing is permanent in life. This is something I say often to to my clients also. It's that um, you know nothing is permanent and it keeps evolving. Our identity keeps shifting with our life experiences, with our age, a lot of things, with where we live, where we grow up, etc. I can read the comments. Sometimes I'm confused. It's all about the changes in today's world. Yes, sometimes. Yes, of course. What happens outside of us also will have an impact on us, right? And yes, we also just have to keep evolving. That's right. And as I said in my introduction, our identity has a lot of layers too. Not only the culture, but the upbringing, our life experiences, and people who told us things like, for example, people, if for example, my husband, he used to hear a lot about from one of his teacher, you'll never be an engineer, things like that. Or me, I and he became one. So it depends what you hear from other. Do you make it a truth, or do you want to prove that it's not true? It's also what you make true about what, which will define who you become also. When I was a young, one of my teachers said, you could be a French teacher. So that gave me confidence. That gave me confidence that, yes, I am good with literature. So sometimes we hear negative things about us, sometimes we hear positive things. And what do we want to do about it, right? Um, and when we are unclear about who we are, that's when we might get influenced too. So, for example, recently I shared, recently, few months ago, I got bullied at my gym, by a Japanese lady who was probably a racist against foreigners. I don't really know her reasons, but when that happens to me, if I am unclear about my identity, if I doubt about me, if I think, oh yes, I'm not good enough, or she's right, I'm small, or I'm that, I'm bothering her, I'm bothering everyone. If I start to think all these things, yes, I could be influenced by what she said. And so that is very important to be clear about who we are and knowing that we cannot please everyone. Also, to give you another example about how we can be shaped by what other things think or not. For example, I have several mentors in my life. I've always been surrounded by mentors because I love to learn and keep learning. And I have two mentors I deeply respect, and they have different opinions. One of my mentors says that, for example, when you're an entrepreneur and you have a brand, it's important to separate both. You have you as Yuko, and you have your brand as YD Coaching, and it's important to separate both. And I have another mentor who said the opposite, that who I am, who you are, Yuko, is also your brand. And so when I receive different opinions about things, it's hard um, to choose. It's hard to know, okay, which direction should I go? And a lot of time we get influenced by what we see on social media, by what we see on the internet, even the news. I mean, they're here to influence our us. The news are here to teach us the fear and all these things. So that's why I don't watch news actually. But yes, so that's a key, I think, element is to you can receive so many information nowadays with internet, with social media, but what it is that is true to you. Thank you for your comments. And for example, I give you another example. I am very interested in the health, and so I'm watching videos on how to be healthier and how to maybe feel more energized and feel better in my body. And when I see on one side, on one hand, that people are promoting you should eat only vegetable, and on another hand, people are promoting you should eat only meats, and people say you should go for uh, running every day, and some people say no, no, don't go for running, just do gym and do the musculation. I don't know the word in English, but you should do weight lifting, for example. Some people say you should go swimming. Some people say you should go this and that. And so you get so confused. And so you might want to hear one opinion, and maybe the other day you realize it's not for you, and that's totally fine. So the key is really to know what works for you, respecting your own needs and respecting your own body, your own limits, your own health, and also respecting your cycle. Especially when we are a woman, we have our cycle. Sometimes in my cycle I cannot just weight lifts because it's during my winter time. I just need to feel in my be in my cocoon and take care of my energy. So it's not the time for me to lift weight or even to go for running. Maybe that will be more time for yoga, you know. So it's also very important to listen to a cycle. So that was the first element for me of the identity, is to know who I am, who what are my needs. The second thing is to know also what people think of me, but not the negative thing. The negative things we don't care. I mean, unless you really want some constructive feedback. Yes, of course, it can be useful, especially in the companies when you have the 360 feedback with constructive criticism, and you have some areas for improvement. Yes, in that case, it's helpful. But when I talk about what people think of me, I'm more talking about what it is that they love about me, you know. Do I know this? Do I know how I'm impacting others' lives? Have I received any kind words? A lot of time we have. We receive so many kind words, but we tend to just forget them or swipe them away because our human brain remembers more the negative things. We remember all the criticism we receive. We remember all the failure we experience in life. But when it comes to the kind words or the accomplishment we have in life, we tend to forget them, right? So the key is to train our brain to allow the compliments, the kind words to come in, to receive them, just to say thank you. And I know from some culture background, it's harder than others. For example, in US, when I would people would give compliments very easily. Sometimes, yes, it can be hypocrites. Of course, oh, I love your shoes. I love your new hairstyle. I love that. Oh, that's amazing. Yes, sometimes, yes, maybe it's too much. But when you give a compliment to someone, you say, I love your shoes, the person will say, thank you. But when you give a compliment, for example, in Japan, most of the time you say, "Oh, thank you so much for your service, for your help." The other person will just say, "No, no, 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 it's nothing." They will downgrade the compliment. So it depends on the culture, of course. But I think what is important is inside of us is to have this ability to at least accept the kind words, even if we don't express it loudly. We don't have to say, yes, of course, I'm amazing. Yes, no, but you can just inside of you just remember and perhaps even write them down. You know, I haven't done that recently, but I should go back to it. But I used to, when I received kind words from my friends, from my clients, I used to print screen to screenshot them and just put them in a file called my treasure box, just to remember all the kind words I receive. And so when I have a down moment, I'm very sad or I doubt of myself, I can just take a look at my treasure box. So that's my second part, is what people think of me. And then about identity, also I talked about the contradictions that makes us whole. There are no contradiction actually, because everyone is perfect as they are, as we are. You know, we are perfectly imperfect or imperfectly perfect, however we want to say it. But I truly believe that our contradictions are what makes us beautiful. And actually, this is proven. This is written in the stars. You know, I am also, if you don't know, I'm also an astrologer. I'm certified astrologer, and what I love about astrology is that it actually shows that, you know, from the time we are born, we are already perfect with all our contradictions. When I look at my natal chart, for example, I know that my sun is in Libra. A lot of time we only know our sun. We say, oh, I'm Libra, I'm Pisces, I'm Aquarius. We just talk about one sign, but we are much more than that. We have our moon, our Mercury, Virgo, not Virgo. No, sorry. Yeah, Mercury. We have the Pluto. We have Venus, Mars. All the planets which are in different signs in Virgo or other signs. And so when I look at my client's chart, for example, I look at them as a whole, all the planets. And for example, if I give you my example, yes, my sun is in Libra, which means my natural tendency is that I love the harmony. I love uh, relationship, peaceful relationship. I am diplomat, etc. But it's not enough because if I could be defined only by that, does it mean that I'm the same as everybody who is born in September? No, right? So also I need to look at the other planets, and when I look at my moon, which is in Scorpio, okay, it makes sense because this is the emotions. It means that what is natural to me, what comes from my past lives, is that I have this ability to really connect with people, connect with their emotions, and I have this ability to feel my emotions, right? So it is also a key element of looking at our moon. And then there is also the Mercury. Mercury is the way I see the world, the way I communicate, and it is in Virgo, which is a Earth sign, which means I have this um, tendency to analyze how people communicate. I pay a lot of attention about communication, but also to me, it's normal that we communicate in a respectful way because it's sacred. Communication is sacred. It's coming from the Virgo, which is the earth sign, very grounded, very sacred. And then I have my Mars, which is in a Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. That's why I like adventure. It's like Indiana Jones. I need to go on adventure to feel alive. And so I'm just sharing a few examples here, but when you look at your natal chart, everything starts to make sense. It doesn't, it's not a contradiction anymore. At least that's what's brought to me. Now I know that, oh yes, okay, that's normal that I'm very sensitive. I can go deep in my emotion, but at the same time, I need this action. I need to move from a country to another. I need to try new challenges. Yes, because I have also a lot of fire in my chart. So we all seek, of course, validation. We all seek recognition. We do that without even knowing it. But in the end, what really matters is how we see ourselves. This is the most important thing, and it is written in the stars. That's a shortcut to really discover who you are. And I have a special offer for that actually, which is Astro Poem, which is a gift for yourself, which you get an astrology reading from me, and you also get a poem, an intuitive poem written by a dear friend and talented artist, Jacob, who writes a poem based on the astrology reading. So it gives you a clear map of who you are, your uniqueness, and also about what is your life mission. Because, yes, I forgot to say that, but in my natal chart, I can also see my life mission, which is my rising sun, which is in Aries, which is a fire sign. What does it mean? It means that my life mission is to go for it and just show the way to everyone. And that's why I'm doing now. I'm living a life with no regrets, and I'm showing by action, by my own action, that yes, it is possible because the fire, the Aries, is a action sign. It's not only about talking and dreaming, it's about actually doing the thing. So when I do this, and I can look at my Jupiter, I haven't talked about that, but my Jupiter is also my expansion sign, which is also, it's in Capricorn, meaning that in order to expand, I need to teach others also. That's like the teacher sign, so that when you know all these things, your life missions also gets clearer, so that's very powerful. And the last piece about our identity is, when I know all of this about my identity, how I see myself, how others sees me, and who I am, thanks to the guidance from the stars, But not only, it can be also who I am, knowing who I am based on, there are so many other tools out there to discover more about your personality or more about your strengths. So many other tools. But when you know this, the question is, who do I choose to be? Who I choose to become? Who I choose to embrace? Which part of, for example, if I talk about astrology, which part of my chart I want to embrace? Because remember, nothing is permanent. So maybe today I will decide, okay, this month I want to embrace my fire energy and go into action and try new things and experiment life. Maybe the next month I will have a total different energy. I will be more into, okay, this month I want to feel into more my emotions and go back inside me and really listen to my intuition. So you can always choose who you want to become, who you want to embrace. And also, the question will be which path I choose for me, but a path that is aligned to me. Not a path that some other people chose for you, for your parents, your sister, or your boss. Just an example. Last day, I was talking to my niece. So she's going to graduate soon from high school. So she's thinking about which university she wants to go. And she was telling me that she thinks that if she goes to finance or maths, it will lead to more money, right? And I told her, actually, your skills, your talents will bring abundance, will bring money. It's not about choosing math or choosing this because I gave her my example. I told her if I chose mathematics for me or like working in a bank for me, it would probably be a disaster because this is not where I shine. This is not what I love. It's not aligned with who I am. Personally, when I have the opportunity to talk in front of an audience or I have the opportunity to impact, to share, to inspire, that's where I can shine. That's where it can lead to opportunities for me. So we all have a different skills, strengths, values, interests, and it is very important to align our choice with that, not with what society or others tell us to do. So I hope this live on identity was helpful, ignited maybe some questions. My goal is that this discussion, this conversation ignites some new thought, new questions, new responses. Not mine response, but yours. And also, if you want to go deeper, I have the perfect offer for that. So I talked about Astro Poem, but there is something else. I just created an offer called Identity, like this life. And this is an offer that will help you to move from self doubt to self love. It's going to be a group experience in a 1 month experience in 4 parts. The first week, we are going to dive into who I am, who I think I am. And the second part, we will dive into what others see in me. The third week, we will dive into who I am really, according to astrology and the stars. So that's where I will also bring my expertise with as an astrologer to help you see what stars tell about you. And the fourth part we are going to talk about, we are going to see together about who I choose to be, which path I choose for me. So it's going to be in 4 weeks, group experience. I will put the link under the video. It's a special price until October 10th, and then it will increase. So everything will be in the link. I hope you join us. And I forgot to say, we are going to start this on October 20th. The experience will start on October 20th. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being here. And feel free to type your questions in the chat. I will come back to it and answer to them. Have a wonderful day and Hopefully, you embrace more of who you are because the world needs you, needs more of you because you're unique. There is only one version of you in this world. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.